Hey everyone, it's August 20th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share it with serial killer William Lester Suff, known as the Lake Elsinore Killer, who murdered at least 12 victims in the 80s and 90s. And that is him right up there. Suff was born in Torrance, California in 1950 and grew up with siblings who were also troubled, with one being a heavy drug user and another a convicted pedophile. He was a skilled musician in his youth who was well liked by his peers at Paris High School. That's Paris, California, not Paris, France. By 1974, Suff was the father of a 2-year-old girl, having been married and divorced all before turning 24. Suff and his ex-wife were convicted that year of beating their young child to death, with Suff sentenced to 70 years in prison. His ex-wife had her conviction overturned after 20 months behind bars, and Suff was paroled in 1984, serving just 10 years of his lengthy sentence. He took a job as a stock clerk for Riverside County and made friends who described him as mild-mannered, spending his free time writing cookbooks, one of which won him first prize at the Riverside County Employee Chili Cook-Off. Suff didn't have that much free time, however, since he spent much of his off hours preying on prostitutes in the Inland Empire. In 1986, a dead woman was found in a drainage ditch in Rubidoux, her blouse and shorts torn to shreds and her genitals mutilated. She was identified as a local prostitute, and she had received multiple stab wounds and showed ligature marks, indicating that she was strangled as she was mutilated. 2 weeks later, another victim was found about 25 miles away, but she was so badly decomposed it was difficult for investigators to determine a cause of death. The next month saw another corpse discovered in Lake Elsinore, and at this point, investigators realized they had a serial killer running loose in the community. A few months later, yet another victim was discovered near the last one in Lake Elsinore. After that, the killing ceased for 2 years. But Suff started up again in 1989 when a dead woman was found on a beach in Lake Elsinore with her head buried in the sand. 6 months later, he struck again, and newspapers started to pay notice to the unsolved murders of prostitutes that were piling up. A task force was working on the case, and Suff was called upon to make deliveries of desks and office supplies to the group working on tracking him down. By 1991, there were as many as 20 unsolved homicides that detectives believed were the work of the same man, but no leads pointed to anyone in particular. The victims often were found to have been drunk and high, since Suff would get them in that state so they'd be easier to kill. He sometimes dressed them in outfits that he brought with him and took their clothes as a souvenir. In 1992, investigators finally caught a break. Suff was pulled over in a routine traffic stop, and the officer saw enough to search his van. Inside, they found bloodstains, a knife, a rope made of fibers that matched those found at many of the crime scenes. The forensic evidence was used to convict him of 12 murders, but it's believed he committed up to 22 if you include his infant daughter in the count. Suff currently sits on death row in San Quentin. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to William Lester Suff, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.